Hello, I'm Christian Fraser. You're watching The Context on BBC News. A bomb cyclone could be on its way to the United States as a winter storm wreaks havoc on one of the busiest travel days of the year. 110 million people are already affected. Some states will see temperatures as low as minus 55 degrees Celsius.
You all have travel plans to leave now. Not a joke.
In Britain, it's a perfect storm as workers on the railways, the highways and the border staff at airports strike across the Christmas period. But it is remarkable how a Christmas getaway forces compromise even on the bitterly divided US Congress. The Senate has put weeks of wrangling aside to agree a $1.7 trillion spending package, and it includes aid for Ukraine. Tonight, with The Context, Helen Lewis, the staff writer at The Atlantic, and the Republican strategist, Mark Williams. Hello, warm welcome to the programme. It is the big getaway weekend, but on both sides of the Atlantic tonight, we are heading into travel chaos. In the United States, 110 million people have been hit today with some of the coldest weather in decades as a bomb cyclone takes temperatures in some areas, like Montana, as low as minus 55 degrees Celsius. Yes, you heard that right, minus 55. That, I'm told, is frostbite in 5 minutes. Anthony Zerka, good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to take a short break. As we did tell you at the top of the programme, Congress has passed a $1.7 trillion spending package with 45 billion dollars in funding for Ukraine. So we'll talk about that and how much that might matter to the authorities in Kyiv. And also we're going to talk about a story that doesn't get much attention, and that is the standoff over Nagorno-Karabakh, that Armenian enclave in Azerbaijan, where currently there is a blockade in place. We'll tell you all about it. Do stay with us. Hello, I'm Christian Fraser. You're watching The Context on BBC News. Russia has criticised the visit to the United States by Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Moscow says it is further evidence the US is fighting an indirect war against Russia. After 10 months of conflict, the Ukrainian forces have regained some of the areas taken by Russia, but on the new front lines, it is the weather that is slowing the advance. But Russia's role as peacekeeper in the southern Caucasus is much diminished. Armenia accuses Moscow of failing to prevent a humanitarian crisis in Nagorno-Karabakh. And yippee-ki-yay, or nay, is Die Hard a Christmas film or not? Tonight, with The Context, Helen Lewis, staff writer at The Atlantic, and the Republican strategist, Mark Williams. Welcome back. President Zelensky has returned from Washington with more funding and the guarantee of more protection, though the Patriot missile system the Pentagon will supply won't reach the front lines until much later in the new year. And after 10 months of conflict, there is no sign the Kremlin wants to de-escalate, in fact quite the reverse. Today, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said the supply of these advanced NATO weapons would only strengthen Russian resolve. Now, it is time for the panel. Helen, you've been watching the Meghan and Harry documentary and you want to talk about it. Why?
She knows that it's one of my absolute favorite movies that my dad and I watched religiously growing up. So we will have it queued up and we'll watch it 2 or 3 times before Christmas Day.
Get out the popcorn. Well, enjoy that. That is it from us. My thanks to Mark Williams and also to Helen Lewis. Thank you very much for your company. The Context, of course, will be off air next week, back as usual in the new year. But from me and from the rest of the team, to those of you who celebrate it, have a very Merry Christmas. Good night.